As we hinted already with the discussion of the syntax data type, XDR specifies both the syntax, the interface definition language, so how are data types described, and also it specifies the encoding, so what is the binary representation of data when it's on the wire. As we hinted already in the discussion of the string data type, XDR, that corresponds both to the interface definition language, essentially that's the syntax, how we are describing data types, and also it specifies the encoding, so that's the binary representation of how is data represented when it's being transmitted between the client and the server on the wire. Here are some encoding rules. All data types are encoded in multiples of 4 bytes. So transmitting a single byte argument would include a single byte for the data and 3 bytes of padding in order to make that up to 4 bytes. This is to help with alignment when moving data to and from memory and the network packets and the network card. Big Endian is used as a transmission standard. What this means is that regardless of the endianness type of the client or the server machine, every type of communication will require the data is first translated into Big Endian representation and then, if necessary, translated into the appropriate endianness for the target machine. In some cases, this may be pure overhead just because the client and the server machine are both, let's say, little endian machines. But in principle, it's easier to have this type of standard agreement so that there's never any kind of ambiguity. What is the encoding that's being used on the wire and how to interpret the bytes that are coming into the network packets. Other rules include things like 2's complement is used to represent integers and the IEEE format is used for floating point numbers or other rules. Let's explain this a little bit better using an example. So let's say that in the .x file, we have a definition of a data type that is a variable length array of size up to 10. And let's say we have an argument, hello, that needs to be passed from the client to the server. In the client or the server address space, if these are C processes, this variable will take 6 bytes. 5 bytes for each of the characters, and then the last 6 bytes for the null terminating character. However, for transmission, this variable will be encoded to take 12 bytes. The first 4 bytes will be used for the length. In this particular case, the length is 5. It's 5 characters. The next 5 bytes will be used for those characters, HELLO. Notice we're not going to be transmitting the null terminated character. And then at the very end, we will have 3 characters used for padding because XDR specifies that everything needs to be on 4-byte boundaries.